Previously on Expedition Earth. I'm in Uganda, deep inside the heart of the Congo. In case you're just joining us, this is Scott Tucker, and you're on Expedition Earth. We're tracking gorillas. First one we saw was feeding on some ants. You're looking at the result of work of people like Jane Goodall, Diane Fossey. These gorillas have been habituated to human beings. They are neither afraid of us or excited to see us. They are totally neutral to our existence. That's why we're able to get so close. The only thing on their mind at this point is feeding. If you haven't a clue as to where I am, have a look here. Think Central Africa, the heart of the Congo region, between the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Rwanda. They put me up in a beautiful spot on Lake Kivu, just over the border in Rwanda. Everything looked perfect. The weather was more than reasonable. The volcano was about to blow any minute. And Tresor, my trusted guide, showed up right on time and was ready for action. Everything was spot on. Everything except Montezuma's revenge took hold and brought me to my knees the night before. I never got the sleep I so desperately needed for the trek up Nyiragongo. I felt as if I had the super flu. Shakes, hot flashes. I spewed from every orifice of my body all night long. There was nothing left. I was totally dehydrated, weak beyond anything I ever remember. And as if that wasn't enough, they had to get me through one of the toughest border checkpoints in the world. The Democratic Republic of the Congo was on guard for Ebola. The virus was on the rise all over the Congo region. Everyone was given an auricular temperature test. I was screwed. I knew it. My luck had finally run out. Or so I thought. Thanks to forces beyond my comprehension, I didn't get flagged at the border. They let me walk right in. This is all remnants from 2002.
Yes.
Eruption. These people built up an entire city in just over 14 years. For those of you just joining us, I'm about to embark on the most incredible journey of my entire life. I'm going to scale an active volcano called Nyiragongo. It's been 14 years since the eruption in 2002. The place still looks like a bomb hit it.
And the lava destroyed the airport and they built again so the plane can come and land in Goma. And nowadays we have Ethiopian airline, which is an international airplane.
Bigger chunks here.
And the lava of 2002 start from this place and go down to destroy the town. So you can see this house here, which was destroyed by the lava.
They're late.
So let's continue. It didn't start from up, but from here.
Oh, started right here.
Yes, here.
It came out from under the ground.
Yes, under the ground, and it's go down to the town.
Goma sits at the foot of Nyiragongo, one of the most active volcanoes on the planet. But the people have just accepted it and went on with their lives. They rebuilt the city. Suddenly, I am confronted by this giant gold statue of a chukudu. It's a bicycle constructed from wood, almost exclusive to this region of the Congo. They use it to carry freight all over the city. Never seen anything like it. Try to get your mind around this. I am really sick, but I've got to climb an active volcano. And I'm getting a history lesson in what the power of this thing could do. And to make matters worse, my mind is caught in a time warp between ancient wooden bicycles and motorcycles. Looking back now as I'm sifting through the video footage, I'm shocked by what I find in the faces of the people eking out a living on the streets of Goma. They're still living amongst the ruins from 14 years ago, when the lava from Nyiragongo rained down on them. And as if that wasn't enough, they're still living amongst extreme corruption and the results of a civil war that claimed 6 million lives. Back in 2002, when the eruption occurred, seismologists saw it all coming. In fact, several days before the thing blew, they warned government officials within the DRC that a strong likelihood of an eruption was imminent. But it went on deaf ears. They did nothing. No organized effort took place. Shockingly, only 48 people died. More people actually were killed when a gas station exploded days after the eruption, and they were caught in the act of looting. Dehydration has taken its toll, and I can no longer think. About halfway up the volcano, I was given two choices. I was going too slow, slowing up the entire group. Either walk back down and go home, empty-handed, or pay extra for the porters to carry me up on a stretcher. I was in shock. It kicked off this epic battle between my pride and my ego. Could I ever let anyone know that this had happened? Keep in mind, I'm one of the oldest guys on the trip, and they've already earmarked me as being weak. And I'm amongst a group of 20 doctors and educators and GSOs from around the globe there to help these people recover from all of the humanitarian disasters they've suffered. This was total humiliation. I knew I could have scaled this thing. It wasn't that difficult. But dehydration, the intestinal parasite, coupled with altitude sickness, I was useless. And to make matters worse, I have no idea whether this volcano is going to be worth it. Will there be any visibility? Will I even see any lava? All these questions are driving me crazy. At this point, we're around 10,000 feet above sea level. And as it turns out, the incline was so steep, even the porters couldn't keep me on the stretcher. The last 1,000 feet of elevation, I ended up walking myself. As sick as I was, something inside me found the strength to make it. And after 10 hours from the time we embarked on the journey up Nyiragongo, I was rewarded with this.
Zinaanza mkokote yote sasa. Endereza le boro za mugungu. Sama iko na kree Goma returu. Ndiyo.
Sure is very regular trucking.
For those of you just joining us, I am Scott Tucker, and you're riding alongside me atop of Nyiragongo, one of the world's most active volcanoes in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. It's the same volcano that decimated Goma just 14 years prior, and unbeknownst to my family, seismologists just sounded the alarm that at this very moment it could erupt again.
Wana kizungu, merci beaucoup.
Fissures in the upper wall of the volcano are venting gases that, for all I know, could kill us. And why not? Since 1882, Nyiragongo has erupted 34 times. And I remember thinking, this is like being on the moon. I'm surrounded by a barren, monochromatic landscape, seemingly void of life. And even though I did register these thoughts, I'm still incapable of serious logical thought at this point. The Cipro hasn't even kicked in, and I am in desperate need of some rest. Eventually, I passed out inside one of the A-frame cabins. And unbeknownst to me, my trusted guide, Tresor, grabbed my phone, ran up to the rim, and snapped these images. I was completely shocked. Tresor was truly looking out for my best interest. Terrible diarrhea, stomach cramps, dizzy. I could not make it up the mountain. But thank God for Tresor, he got me up here. This is where I slept. Thank you. I'm painfully aware at this point that I'm the guy that everybody wants to avoid. I'm sick. Who knows what I have? Remember, this region was rampant with Ebola. So, tensions are high. Food is the last thing on my mind, but I know I need it. Never gonna make it down without some energy. This is between. Look at this. Between. I made it through the night. I'm still alive. The Cipro seems to have kicked in, and I no longer want to die. Now all I gotta do is make it back down to the base camp. Keep in mind, I paid the porters to carry me back down as well as partially up. And they don't know what to make of me because I don't want any help. I know I can make it down on my own. Yesterday, I had no toilet paper. I had to wipe my ass with one of these leaves down in the corner. I've never done that before. That's true desperation. Wiping your ass with a leaf. Not really giving a shit. Right now I've shit through my only pair of underpants and my performance wear. Now I'm wearing 2 pairs of pants. In the back of my mind, the thoughts that keep playing are, look, even when I do make it down, I'm still in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. This is a no-fly zone for the CIA. We're not out of the woods. Another one. I owe my life. These guys got me up. They brought me up the mountain. As we head back to Goma on my final leg of the journey back to Kigali, Rwanda, I'm struck by the children on the roadside. Runny noses, torn clothing, and no supervision. It's like they saw a ghost. And the things we all take for granted, like simple modern construction equipment, are nowhere to be found. Instead, they're replaced with centuries-old manual labor. It's just another reminder of how far away from home I really am. Goma is still a land ruled by extreme political corruption and oppression. It wouldn't be fair to call it a culture shock after just 2 days in the DRC. But as I decompress the events from atop Nyiragongo in what felt like a near-death experience, something is amiss. I'm in Kigali, the capital city of Rwanda. Everything looks like business as usual to the naked eye, but I can't help but sense a blanket of sadness, almost like a deep sorrow here in this city. It's as though I'm in a place that can't quite move beyond its own history. And for those of you who don't know what happened here in the early 1990s, it's best you prepare yourself. In 1994, the government organized killings targeting Tutsis. More than 1 million people were massacred in 100 days. Every single person in Rwanda, these very people walking the streets, probably know someone who witnessed the genocide. How could you ever move on from that? Your mom was murdered. Your dad butchered. Your brother, your sister gone. Grandfather, grandmother stripped from their homes and struck down dead. But how could this happen in the 1990s? Surely we as a globe had learned from the Holocaust, right? To try to get your mind around a genocide, one of the most horrific things that you could ever imagine on this planet, you've got to go back 100 years. This thing was a long time coming. Each event that I'm about to spell out for you doesn't seem like much until you add them all up. 1894, Germany rules Rwanda, and they do so for the better part of 24 years, until after World War I, they lose control of many different areas around the world, including Rwanda, and who steps in? The Belgians. King Baudouin was a devout Roman Catholic who was welcomed with open arms from Rwandan King Mutara III. And by 1948, an alliance between the two countries laid the foundation for a major shift away from Rwandan's tribal system into a world governed by European Catholic ideology. And it is at this point the Catholic Church steps in to create what historians have pinpointed as the biggest antagonist in the trail of blood leading to genocide in Rwanda. They encourage ethnic classification systems between the Tutsi and the Hutu, two peoples who, up to now, had lived in equilibrium with one another. Soon enough, the Belgian colonial government proclaimed the Tutsi as more intelligent and encouraged the Tutsi youth to attend newly established schools. But within only a couple of decades, to complicate matters, in 1959, a prominent Catholic bishop, André Perudin, in his pastoral letter for Lent, proclaimed the Rwandan society should be divided by race, portraying the majority Hutu people were being oppressed by the minority Tutsi. This was a major turning point on the road to genocide. In 1959, the Hutu rebellion begins. By 1961, the Tutsi monarchy is abolished. By 1962, Rwanda gains independence from Belgium. And by 1973, the president takes control of Rwanda. 15 years later, Rwandan Patriotic Front is formed. But a few years later, world coffee prices plummet, killing the economy. And just 2 years after that, the RPF invade Rwanda, seeking revenge. 1991, a new constitution allows multiple political parties. But shortly thereafter, radio and television begin broadcasting hatred, inspiring genocide. Habyarimana, the Rwandan president, fueled the fires of hatred by inspiring young Hutu men to form militias willing to kill their own Tutsi neighbors. All the while, the news media, both radio and television, fan the flames of hatred with a relentless propaganda campaign, calling on Hutu men to kill their own countrymen. Although it's of little consolation now, this man, Ferdinand Nahimana, sits in prison today for his role in aiding the genocide as a radio talk show host. And even as the genocide was underway, the media continued to broadcast instructions on how to commit the genocide. After a solid 4 hours immersed inside the Kigali Genocide Museum, desperately trying to get my mind around the horror that occurred here, I'm thoroughly exhausted and heartsick for the Rwandans. Nothing could have ever prepared me for it. No book, no movie. I had to come here for myself. And later that day, as I make final arrangements to disembark from the African Congo, I'm uplifted by the belief that what I witnessed, the people and their dedication to the future, one where all life, human life and wildlife, weigh equally important. And it is that memory that will forever be imprinted on my heart. Well, folks, that's it for this edition of Expedition Earth. I'm Scott Tucker. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.